The learning story of 1873. Seeds of renewal. The year 1873 cracked open like a fault line in America's rise. The nation's stock market had collapsed, and with it, the dreams of thousands of railroad men. Miles of track lay rusting in the sun-iron veins gone cold. Among those who saw possibility where others saw ruin was Hattie Robinson Green, the so-called Witch of Wall Street, a woman both feared and admired for her brilliance. While others panicked, she bought. From the wreckage, she gathered land, rail, and dust assets abandoned by greed. One gift she gave to her son, Colonel Edwin Green, then just 23, and already a disciplined officer in the U.S. Army. It wasn't gold or factories. It was a forgotten stretch of railway, 2 miles of track, and the promise of towns scattered along the Texas horizon. Green traveled west by private coach to see what, exactly, he'd inherited. On the road, he met another traveler, Dr. George Washington Carver, a quiet man with a pack of seeds and ideas that would someday feed nations. Carver was bound for Alabama to teach freedmen how to farm new life from exhausted soil. The two men shared a campfire and the kind of conversation that shifts destinies. Carver warned of the boll weevil, a small determined insect moving through the South, devouring cotton at 100 miles a year. The land, he said, was tired. The cotton monoculture was bleeding it dry. Plant the peanut, Carver told him. Heat heals the earth while it feeds the people. When they parted at the fork in the road, each man carried the other's thought like a seed pocketed in the mind. Colonel Green reached El Paso and looked over the ghostly rails and towns that now belonged to him. He saw the same thing Carver had seen, tired land. The farmers along his lines clung to cotton, even as the weevil came. But Green had seen the map of the future, and he began to turn his railroad into a lifeline. Each stop became a station of learning. Farmers traded cotton for peanuts, corn, and alfalfa. The towns became small laboratories of resilience. He brought in teachers and scientists, many trained under Carver's methods. Baseball fields were carved beside the tracks, small, bright ovals of joy amid the work, where the rhythm of the bat and ball met the rhythm of planting and harvest. By the turn of the century, Green's network of experiment stations and teaching farms formed the living root of what would become the United States Department of Agriculture. He would serve as its first director, a soldier, who learned from a scientist that the true defense of a nation begins with its soil. The lesson for mankind: progress rarely begins in wealth or invention alone. It begins when one person truly listens, to another whose truth grows from the ground up. The meeting of Green and Carver was a passing moment between a man of means and a man of purpose. But from it sprouted an idea that healing the land and feeding the people are one and the same act of civilization. When we think of the future, we do well to remember that every age of crisis hides its own seeds. Some are made of iron, others of earth, but both need vision to grow.